Hello, this is M.E.Ford, the Digital Cowboy, coming to you to finish the DeLorean series. We're going to model that thing today, or I should say this evening. I'm sitting here with a nice hot cup of tea, and we're going to relax and just do this. I think I was taking the last ones a little too seriously. I'm not used to recording myself, so me being new to this, I think I was overthinking it. I just need to relax and have fun and let you guys get to know me. So, uh, yeah, with that, let me bring the project folder here. Project C, DeLorean. I named this one. If you guys downloaded this, if you were my students, you did. You renamed this in case you need to zip it to me, whatever. And in the scenes under Lab 11, I already have one I just started. You guys will open up this and I'll show you what's going on here, man. What we have, let me bring it onto the screen. We're gonna, right there. That's what I just did for a test run prior to making the video. I just wanted to do a dry run with and without turbo smooth. We're going to be dividing this thing up into smoothing groups and using turbo smooth as opposed to using open subdiv with crease sets. I just think with 3ds Max and beginners, because this is a beginner series, it's just a little easier. So that's with turbo smooth. That's without the edge faces on, so you can see what we're going to be making. There. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's open up 3ds Max. And if you haven't, go into your preferences. Hey, up your undo levels. If you haven't done that, I just type in 500, but 20 default ain't gonna cut it. So up that and convert local file past relative, and you hit OK, and then we'll go over to File and let's set that project folder so everything gets saved. You'll click on your project folder, make sure it is the root folder. Don't go clicking one of these other folders. You'll have inception going on. Crazy file system. So click on that, hit OK. Now, yeah, that's just a plugin thing. I can open up right in my scenes. I'm going to go Lab 11. You will open up that, and I'm going to open up the one that says my name. And you will do a file save as and rename it. Now, once you do, here's your viewports. I'm going to open up the layer manager so you can see what's going on here. There's your views. There's the DeLorean size master that I base everything off of. There's your views. Now, one of the things I did do, in case one of you don't know, see how you can see through that on one side and not the other? Well, if you select it and hit right click Object Properties, you'll see Backface Cull. If you uncheck that, see what happens. You see it on both sides. And normally that's the desired what we want. But in this case, we're going to be modeling, when I'm in the back view, I don't want to have to hide. So here, just select it, right click, go to Object Properties, make sure Backface Cull is on. You hit OK, and now every single one of these, you'll be able to see through in the bottom. All right. And then, of course, they're all locked. If I need to move them and unfreeze them, I can slide them on one axis, depending on where I want them to be. But I'm going to freeze them so I don't accidentally select them while I'm modeling. because I don't feel like messing with them. Move them off to the side. And yeah, you see me doing this a lot. Peekaboo. Uh, um, I've got I've got 3 monitors here, over here. So it just makes workflow a lot easier. So with that, and you see me navigating around here, that middle mouse button, that's just me clicking it. Hold down Alt, and you'll rotate. All right, scroll to zoom in. I like using my cubes. I use them a lot. I know some artists like to hide them, but I don't. I like using it. I use it a lot, and it helps me know which ways what in the world: front, side, back, so forth. All right, so let's get started. Let's bring up that layer manager here. Make a new layer. Name it your DeLorean. All right. Now I already created a tire here, but I'm going to show you how I did that real quick. So all you need to do is make a cylinder. Come into the view right here and just click and drag. Go into your object properties. You don't need all this geometry. Turn that down to 16 because it subdivides nice. We'll be able to cut it nice. Grab your rotate tool, and you will see me moving through the tools a lot. I'm using keyboard shortcuts. So if I hit Q and look up here, Q is just select object. So I can select something and I don't have to worry about moving it. And then if I hit W, for you video gamers, W is the move, E is rotate, and R is scale. So I bounce through those a lot. Now, I got angle snaps on, so I can rotate this nice and 90 degrees. And you see the number output right there above it. Get that in place. Let's go into orthographic view. All right, orthographic view, not perspective. We don't want perspective. We want all these orthographic views. So that's why I like my cube. Sometimes I'll hit F for front. There is no, and I don't feel like changing the keyboard shortcut for it, so I just hit front and use my cubes a lot. So, all right, perspective lies, guys. We don't want perspective. So I'll get it in place. Now, how about that transparent material? Well, open up your material editor. Let's go up here. Let me drag it into the viewport. I always drag out a physical material. Double click on it. I make it a transparent material. Name it transparent so I know what it is. Drag it on there, and there it is. I do that because that way I can control how transparent it is. And you can change the color if you want. I have a desaturated blue, dark blue. It just helps my eyes. That's why I like doing this with a custom material instead of using the object properties for it see-through. It's a one size fits all for that. I don't like that. So that's all I do. I pop that on there, get that into place. I'll get it centered, with the tire. And I already have an object in place here, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this thing for a second. Right here is where I'm at. Make sure you name it your tire. Put it in place. And what I did here, make sure your width and everything is good. So I'm going to go down into cylinder. So I made sure my height, was where I want it. 16 sides. The diameter, the radius right here. You can adjust that however you see fit. And then boom, you're in place. Now, all you gotta do is pop on a edit poly modifier, which I already did. There it is. Now, it's in the DeLorean folder. So now all the modeling is gonna go in that. I can hide the views if I want, Everything's nice and organized here. Name your things. You don't know who you're going to be giving this file to, you know? I had a professor years ago. It didn't even have to be, it wasn't even modeling. And he said, every time you name a file, he taught Microsoft Office. He's like, every time you name a file, name it. If you have a baby, you name it, right? Well, name your files. So I always chuckle over that one. All right, so it's in place, it's sized right. That is going to allow us to start modeling the body. And the reason why I'm going to start with the tire and use the geometry from this to start modeling this is that's a more complex area to model by hand. You don't want to try and do that by hand. That'd be a nightmare. So if you look at what I have here, I mean, that would be so hard to try and get by hand. This is easy. We're going to model all of these by hand. Shift, drag, edges over. This, start with a primitive. So it's a perfect circle. You know, this is what's going to help us. So from there, all you got to do, go into your sub-object for that tire. I'm going to, I don't know what I'm doing. You'll see me do goofy things at times. All right, select that face. I'm going to shift drag it forward. I'm going to make a copy of it. And I'm going to make a new object based off of that. And I'm going to name this DeLorean underscore model. Use camel script, people. You don't know if you're going to be importing this to a game engine or something. Just good naming practices, guys. People will thank you for it later. At least I hope. I would. All right, so we got the tire. It's in place. Let's get out of sub-object mode. I can hide that tire. I don't need to see it right now. It's just going to be in the way. That's just a great base to start, all right? So just hide her. Now this. Go back into your right orthographic view and let's go into, see, it's an editable poly. Now if it wasn't, you would want to right click, convert to editable poly. We don't want to use editable mesh. We don't want to use editable patch. We want to use editable poly. Now, it's no longer a cylinder that we can scale, but that's all right. We're going to grab the edges. And you notice if I double click, you're used to doing a loop. Well, there's so many sides, it doesn't like it. It makes Max hard to, it gets confused. So we're going to grab those edges, grab the scale tool. We're going to shift, drag outward to copy those edges. I'm going to take it right to the empty space, the tightest area here at first. All right, there's a reason. There's a method to my madness. All right, now the wheel well is not centered exactly like a tire, and it is slightly oblong. We're going to fix that now instead of later. We're going to move this over now. We're just going to slightly reposition everything here. You're better off doing it now because you want the geometry that we're going to be extruding from, shift dragging these edges from, to match the shape of the tire and the wheel well that we established first, because that's just going to be less edges that we're going to have to move in Z space or inward, you know, later on. They'll already be in position. So let's center this. Let's get it where we need it. And I can grab the scale tool. And a lot of times I like doing this with the verts. I just think it functions, it scales nicer, less warpage, I guess, if you want to say, with these lines. But look, if I select verts over here or up here, or the other keyboard shortcut, which is 1, we'll go to verts, 2, edges, which they're already selected, 3 is your borders, which they're linked to edges, 4, oh, let's hit that again, 4, 4 polygon, and then 5 is the element. So it's always the entire element. Now, if you're on, like, say, my edges, and that's number 2, and I hit number 2 again, it will exit out of editable poly. Boom. And if I want to go right back into it, just hit number 2 again. It'll go right back into a sub-object mode. So that's real nice, having that, the QWERTY up top and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, those are nice. All right, now let's get back to this. If I just hit 1 though, it just goes to verts. I don't want that. So I'm going to hold down the control key and either click the vert over here or click this. And what happens? They're selected. Whammo. That's a great little tip. So now I'm going to scale these down just a little. Let's see here. I want to see where the line is. That one. This line. We're going to start establishing. All right. Let's get these a little bit better in place. I can grab these, grab the move tool. I could nudge them up just a wee bit. I could grab these ones. These ones, I like doing symmetrical transformations, so I will use the scale tool a lot of times. You'll see me, and that way I can make nice symmetrical movements. All right, I'm going to nudge these up instead. And the reason is, let's see here. Let's just get these a little bit better. Yes, I am a bit OCD. That's just, I like precision. All right, I'm not worrying about these down here for now. These ones I can move out symmetrically and say, oh wow, that lines up pretty good, don't it? Whammo. That corner's lined up perfect. These, I can move these up and down a little bit to get a better shape. Grab the scale tool instead of move to get some symmetry going on there. All right, and these edges are nice and straight. I like this. I don't like this. Let's just nudge these up, match that line a little better. Oh, that's perfect. That's a nice, no it's not. I'm like that Kid Death from that one cartoon, Soul Eater or whatever that was. I like symmetry, Patty. Yeah, check that cartoon out if you've never seen it. It's hilarious. All right, so anyway, these lines are pretty nice. They're nice, evenly spaced. It's just going to make when we subdivide with Turbo Smooth and everything else a lot better. Computers are like my OCD brain. If they're symmetrical, things are even. It just works better, guys. Especially if you got to animate or something later on. All right, so back to this. Now watch. If I double click these edges, because I extruded those out, now I've got a loop established, and it just makes scaling and just doing all this much easier. I'm going to leave all these. We're not going to need this face, this weird n-gon, because I don't use n-gons or triangles. I don't. I just don't. Avoid them if I can. I know professionals say, you're just nitpicking. There are times you can, and yeah, I trust your guys' judgment. But if you're a beginner, I just think, why not get in the good practice doing it now? But I'm going to leave these guys here for right now, just so that if I got to select all these, if I got to do a uniform scale or something, the center point here, just it's nice and established. See, dead center, just makes things nice. I'm gonna shift drag out on the, and like I did before, I should have explained the Y and X. You want to make sure it's going up and down. Use this one. If you don't want to scale back in Z space too, don't click here. This will hit all three axes. This will just hit the two that they're connected with here in the orthographic view. And you'll see it in this kind of angle too. What I want to do is go into my top view. Before I go extruding any more edges out, I'm going to grab my move tool. I'm going to look up here. That's not in place. Let's start getting these in place. All right. We know this edge starts right there, here at the bottom, but it ends up here. There's a couple of ways we could do this. In the past, I've rotated it. Oop. Let's go into local here. Change our coordinate system. I'm in top. I don't have any constraints on. That was weird. There we go. Just a nice little snap. The center line still says center. I like that. I'll grab my move tool, move it into place. That's going to go here and this that way. Yes, I like making my little sound effects. I'm sure I'm going to get little write-ins making fun of me. That's okay. All right, now I'm going to grab my scale tool, scale out, hold down the shift key, scale out uniformly. I'm going to take it to the max here, get that up that edge, then I'm going to scale it this way to bring that in to match that edge. You see that line, and look at that. You're like, what? Double click these. All you got to do, go into top, grab your move tool, move them out too. And oops, I should have done that before. Here, you get to see me fix a mistake. I'm going to remove the loops. I'm not going to hit remove over here, or yeah, I can hold down the control key and do it, or I can just click remove the loops. Boom. I'm going to make a new cut. See, I can't select that now. Here, I'm just going to grab the Swift loop, make a real tight cut there. Boom. Now I feel better about myself. I grab this polygon here, move it back in, go top. Let's get all this stuff lined up here. There we go. There, I fixed the boo-boo. No, it's not perfectly straight, but there is a slight curve to it, so I'm all right with this. I am going to move it out because I don't like that going inward like that. So just right there. We're good. All right, yeah, that was a little mistake I made, guys. There, you get to see me fix one. Let's grab these edges. Let's look into our right view here. I think these are lined up pretty good. Maybe let's move this just, right. Yeah, let's go with that. Now, see how I'm getting the curvature right now established? Because the rest of the body frame, see, there's a curve there. It's going to make it, when we shift drag, less that we have to move later on. I'm telling you, don't wait till the last minute to do this. So I'm going to start with 4 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, I did 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or if you had to go this way, I mean, it just makes cutting nice. So let's grab the move tool, shift drag straight up. I'm going to grab the scale tool, grab on the y-axis to flatten these down. and go gangbuster. Get that nice and flat. Grab the move tool again, bring it down to the edge of that window, and lo and behold, that's nice. All right, that worked out nice. Hey, that does not happen all the time, people. That was just whoever made the car. Maybe had good sense of lines. And that is why we're modeling this car, because it is nice to start for beginners, I think. It has some curvature, but yet it has nice straight lines. You have to learn how to control smoothing, but yet yada yada. So I don't think it's too terribly complicated. So let's move this along. Let's grab that x-axis, hold down shift key, shift drag over, bring that over. Ooh, that's pretty cool. That doesn't always happen. So anyway, though, it's still not right. I need to move these verts over. So let's go 1. Let's move these over just a bit. Let's match these lines, because this is going to be where the car door opens. You know, you have these lines already made on what you're modeling. Use them in your model. It just makes sense. That's why the designers designed them that way. Follow their edge flow. All right, so, oh, Mr. Matthew, stop being so OCD. All right, I'm going to do the same thing over here. Grab these edges. And you notice I don't need all of them. Hold down shift, bring it over, grab the scale, flatten them. Nice flat, because I'm going to move them right here where that bumper line is. Like I said, you got these lines, use them. All right, grab my verts. I'm just going to move these guys up. Oop, I didn't want to move that one. I like that straight line. I just want to move these two. I always forget that. Try match that curve. So we got this here. And this gets a little tighter. All right. Don't worry about this. We're going to do something about that later. Hence another reason why. All right. Got that. We got that. Yeah. You see where I'm going to go with that? I'm going to establish all this stuff first, though. So now you're like, oh no, what do I do here? Look, if I grab my edges, say I grab the bridge tool, and I bridge from here to here, it doesn't want to do anything. Let's grab this edge, hit bridge. It doesn't want to do anything. Oop, went back too far. So, and that would be a triangle anyway. And you have, why do all that? Watch this, guys. Grab this edge. Oop, don't still be in your bridge tool though. Grab this edge. Grab this edge. I'm doing this going up instead of these two, because then, you got to go one at a time. So, hold down the shift key, drag straight up, and I'm not going to go all the way because I like seeing what I'm doing. So then I'm just going to weld those verts. So go into 1, your verts, select those, hit weld. That's too far away. All right, I'll just target weld you. Boom. And do the same thing here. And then let's select those verts, scale, nice flat. Grab move tool, just make sure they're right where they need to be. See, everything lines up. I'm going to go a little lower. We can take a little bit of liberties with these blueprints. They're drawings. All right, so we got those in place. Now, doesn't over here look a lot the same. Well, I'm the type of guy that why reinvent the wheel? Grab these polygons, hold down shift, say okay, clone it to the element, don't make a separate object of it. Uh, oh, yeah, I have a problem with mirroring and flipping and when you're in sub-object mode. A lot of times I'll go ahead and just say okay, make it a separate object. Um, get out of sub-object mode on this, get that weird one here. See how the anchor point is over here because it once belonged to that object. So yeah, it's kind of weird. All I need to do though, I don't care right now. I'm just gonna flip it. Oh, which way did you go? There it is. There it is. It should have been the Z then. All right. No clone. Okay. Let's see if it did it right, Max. No, I always forget. Oh, Matthew, I always hate this mirror. And I can't see where it's going because of that anchor point. All right, here. Let's make my life easier. Go in the hierarchy tab, effect pivot only, center it to the object. Thank you. Let's finish that now. So it will flip a mirror in front of my eyes instead of all over the screen. All right. Mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Which way are you going? Can never tell. Gotta get a good view here. Some people it just it's supposed to be that way. Well, pardon moi. That's going in. You would think that. Please. Ah, yes. I hear the angelic chorus. Oh. All right. Let's get this eyeballed here. I'm going to scale it right through there. So let's move that pivot, effect pivot only. Try get this centered on this. At least I've got the vertical to go with. And that. All right, that should be good enough. Now I can put it in place. It's obviously way too big, so I grab my scale tool. I'm gonna go in the sub-object mode to do this. Just select the element. It just works better. I don't want to. Max gets glitchy. I'm gonna scale the whole thing X, Y, and Z. I'm more worried about the rim and stuff, so or that wheel well. I'm not worried about some of the other. I can move these later. That looks pretty good. Yep, that there, that there, that there. I can select this polygon, grow it. There we go. And if I wanted, then I could scale these down a little more if I needed or whatnot. So right about there was that line. Okay, we're good. So now that's in place. Oh no, what do I do? Okay. Select your DeLorean model, go into your sub-object mode. I usually click element for this, but any of them will work. And then we're going to attach it. You can find it down in here. You can find it up here. I'm going to say attach from list, or I can just say click this and boom. Now, exit sub-object mode. They are once again one item. Bum, bum, bum. Now at this point, I can't go scaling these uniformly. That's okay. I might need to do some scaling, so this is what I'm going to do. Go back into my hierarchy tab, effect pivot only, and I'm going to, remember, I put this ground plane 0, 0, 0, 0. Go into your world coordinate system and go 0, 0, 0. All right, 0, 0, 0. Now get out of pivot, and we are golden because that's the center of the car, guys. So when we scale it, it'll scale uniformly in each direction. We're going to be putting, check this out, or we might as well do it right now, a symmetry modifier on here. All right, so there's symmetry. I've got it in a list of my favorites, but it's all alphabetical order. Let's put symmetry on here. We got to redirect that mirror. We're going to tell it to flip it on the, not the Y, but the Z. There we go. There's our car. Pretty cool. Now we can go down into here, go back into sub-object mode. And if we want to see what we're modeling in all of its glory, we can toggle this show end result on and off, which will show us that symmetry being applied across it. We're going to do this in a little bit with Turbo Smooth. I'm not going to worry about that right this second. So we're in sub-object mode. I don't want to see this right now. Let's go into orthographic view. Let's start fixing this all up. At this point, we can delete these polygons we don't need. Delete. Because at this point, all they're going to do is just be in our way. Delete. I'm going to keep that there to help. See, there's a flat lip on this car body. Where's that picture? Oh, pictures. Oh, pictures. Always have your reference materials. Okay. So there is a little flat lip. If I find a good one, you can see they did it here. And that's about the quality we're going to be doing here. Not all that stuff, but body-wise, right there. Now that, it looks like they took some artistic liberties. Let's see here. Yeah, there is a lip around that wheel well. So that's what that is. All right. So now let's get some of these lines in place. We scaled this all around. I can go into edge, select that edge. I can grab the rotate, give it a little nudge, grab move tool, come down, voila. And let's nudge it down. Let's see here. Yeah, that looks good. Let's look at it from the top view. Let's try and bring some of these in. That line that I was looking at should have been this one. And sometimes this happens when you rotate stuff, guys. So, yeah, you might have to select the vert. Or edge, bring it out. Scale. Let's go to world so we don't warp it. Grab the rotate. World. Or, nah, we can do it on this axis, I think. Well, heavens to Betsy's. I'll turn that angle snaps off. Grab the move. Let's get this bad boy in place better. Let's go back to world. Let's just do it this way. Matthew, make your life easier. All right. Let's select these verts here, or edge. I can flatten them because I don't like that curve. It's just all over the place. Go there, 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 and there. And, you know, I've never done this. I might do this for the first time with you guys right now. No, I don't like it. Match your curvature. Now, let's take a look at that car door opening. All right. Yeah, it looks like the curve, and then that's the under part. Always look at your stuff. Okay, that's that hard rubber like that. That. So I don't think it's going to hurt one way or the other. At least by doing this, it's matching the flow here. Let's see, bring that over a little more. Get that line down good. All right. Let's take a look at it at a slight angle. We got to get that edge up there in place. Go into top view. Let's bring that in. We know it's coming all the way in. How far? The world may never know. Okay, the bottom of the window. T to go into that. It's the bottom right there. So, oh lordy. Don't want to move those. I'm just matching the curve. Alt clicking to remove. Control click adds, remember. And then let's move all these guys in to match that curve nicely. All right. Let's see here. I think this vert needs to come in just a wee bit. Sometimes you gotta go back and forth, see what's out of alignment. I want that vert. Which one? I don't know. I like that. Whatever is in there. Thank you. Alright, that's going under the body. We'll move those in later. We can look at it from the back view, even on these guys. Say, what is that monstrosity? That should not be there. Oh. Yeah, it is. Let's go on the top. Just follow your edges. Alright. So this is the beginnings. And now, what's next? And sometimes you'll see me, I'll select a bunch of stuff and then just do a quick deselect. Or I could have just double clicked here, control, double click there. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other guys. Then I'm going to hit bridge. There we go. It's coming along, isn't it, people? All right. I'm going to take a look at this bottom edge. Let's see if this is in enough. Look at it from a front. Now it's going to sweep under the body, I believe. I think all these edges are. All along the bottom. Before we go too much further. And grow. That way we can start to get the sweep. You see, even the wheel wells do. In the past, I've ignored the wheel wells, but now. All right. Now, let's see, what else? Okay, so let's take care of these, that front. Let's take care of this. Let's get this all squared away. I'm gonna grab Swift Loop. I'm gonna make a cut in here. This one will line up pretty good. See, boom. That one won't. Let's see here, Swift Loop. Let's find that right there. That looks good. The reason why I made this one is so that I could grab the verts, control click your verts right there. This time I want to constrain them to the edges. I don't want them to alter my shape, so I'm going to constrain them. Grab my move and move them up. And see, it just helped keep the existing shape that was there. It allowed those, when I flatten them, to follow the contours I already had established using the constraints. All right. So now, let's go into the side view. What's Matt going to do? I'm going to grab me some polygons here. Here's Move Tool. There's polygons. Oh, and yeah, instead of control click, and then maybe hitting ring and hoping it ring. Oh no, let's see here, loop maybe. Okay, yeah, loop works, and then I can delete it. If I select one and hold down just the shift key, the yellow light, click that instead. There, it did the whole loop instantly. Delete. Delete. Okay, and they are nice and lined up. I like this. All right. Now, let's finish this car body. All right, everybody, I'm back. I had to go check on my Poochie. I say Poochie because he's a 95-pound, 7-year-old Shepherd mix. Um, but get myself some hot tea. Uh, I do drink a lot of hot tea. Ah, refreshing. All right, guys. Yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock at night. I'm a night owl. It's the wolf in me. So let's get this straight because I am OCD. And then see how that's off? Guess what? We can fix that without, if you go down, it's going to cut into that body frame. But if you turn on those constraints, say I want to move those two down, see how they glide along the surface. So I want to move it down that edge right there. And I'm going to do, you know what, undo. I'm going to do both so they do it uniformly. I can take some liberties like this, especially around that circular part. You just got to be careful how crazy you get. I want to respect the form. All right. This is where you're going to hear me start getting all philosophical and Bruce Lee flow and like water and everything else. But, oh well, I will say it. Your edge flow here should flow for a reason. Notice I'm doing this with constraints on, so I'm respecting the contours, the form that I established. I'm just making tweaks here. I'm not going nuts with it, I just nudged them. Just so I could get these nice straight lines. I'm going to do the same. Let's see here. That's riding on the top of that. Let's take this one. Do that. Same there. And, I could even take this one since I did over there. Do the same thing. I can follow that line a little bit. And in case you wonder, every once in a while you'll hear me mumble lyrics to a song. I'm just jamming out to my my Floyd right now on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. Now I'm gonna take those, scale those out, just to try and straighten it. Well, just evaluating. If you hear me get silent, I'm just evaluating. And you know what? I'm going to do this now while I still have this straight line right here. I'm going to take this, make one there, with those still selected. Control click my edge. Oop. If that happens by accident, let's see here. Those are selected. If you control click edge, see it's wanting to select every edge that was attached to those verts. All right. So, I told you use control click before. The other one is shift. If you hold down shift, it will respect just what's inside those, not everything that's attached, not the extraneous lines branching off of it, the edges branching off. So, all right, now I got that straight edge. The constraints are on. I'm gonna now drag that over this way, right where that is. Perfect, beautiful. I can go into my top view. I'm gonna turn these constraints off. Just make sure these look good. Okay, that looks goofy over there. What the heck happened there? Oh no. I had something going on over there somehow. Ooh, that was dangerous. Somehow I selected those. Really jacked some stuff up. Hey, undo. Let's put that line back. I don't know how the heck that happened. Oh, you jerk. See? No constraints on. There. Let's turn the constraints on. Okay. Put that in place. Turn them back off. Rotate around. Okay. Now this edge right here, I'm not liking. I'm thinking that vert right there needs rounded off, brought in more. Let's look at it from top view, see what's going on. Yeah, see how far these are out. That shouldn't be that far out. This should be coming in to match the contours of that shape. So let's bring that in. Try and match the angle that we brought in earlier on that. There we go. That looks a lot better. Now let's look at it from the front. Oh, Lord. These really need moved in, huh? Oh. I was just checking my lines. Sometimes I'll just move stuff around just to see what's doing to the form. Because this should be coming in more. But I don't like... Maybe bring those out. Look at it from the side view here. Alright, we can pretty it up later. Alright. Some of that I might fast forward through. It was just me evaluating edges. Checking edge flow. What's lining up with what. Especially when you take a break and you come back and you're like, oh, where the heck did I leave off at? Alright. We need to establish some swift loops right here and right here for the door that's coming up. Side of that, we're gonna do one right there and right there. For that to come up to separate for the window. Got that line. Pardon me. How rude. I'm going to take this edge, grab the constraints, bring that down just to match that. I'm going to do that with that vert since it pulled the vert. I don't like those being all wonky if I don't have to, you know. All right. And to all of you, I say, have a cigar. Ha 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 ha. Whoa. Alt, Matthew, Alt. All right, guys. Now, this is where we start getting into some detail stuff here. All right, we got. Now let's turn constraints off there, shall we? Okay, so we got this line here. Let's make sure it's flat. All right. That's above that. And what I want to do, see, I'm looking. You see me keep looking at that line. All right, there's a separation right there. But is that just a weird defect? Or is that accurate? Come here, picture. I'm going to show you guys the picture. Nah, you know what? That ride's pretty straight, I think. I'm not going to go saying, oh, because that. I'm just going to make this line up pretty much myself. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of liberty with that. All right. So we've got this. Before I come out any further, I want to continue the rest of the body so that I can match that up better, and the same there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this edge loop, but I'm going to deselect that part because I'm going to shift drag up this stuff. All right. Now, what I like to do is I go to the extremes. All right, I want to match this overall contour. All right, so let's go into verts. All right, I can start moving these everywhere I need. Like these got to go up. I could take it to the mirror first, or the window first if I wanted. So I hate it when I accidentally deselect something. So I want a straight there. Mr. Ford is being picky. Let's take these guys up because they're already straight. Da, 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 da. All right. Let's match these. So you see what's going on here? I could have taken it to the very top. I mean, I could, yeah, I could still do that if I wanted. The thing is, it's this window. It gives me a nice straight edge that's more forward because the roof here, it starts to go back. Pardon me. Sorry, coughed. All right. Um, so, no, I know this is more forward, the same as this line right here. This edge, which I've already established up top. Right there. So I know in Z space, see how far back I would have had to go. So I don't want to go too crazy back in that Z space. So I'm just going to establish this. I turn the volume up for that a little bit. Wish You Were Here. I love that song. All right. So this guy, aha, right up top. And then it does taper. So I'm just going to move it on the x-axis to keep that edge straight. And then I can select all these guys or the edge. Go up top, move it over. And we're gonna fix this right now. It's best to do it now instead of me continuing making more edges and then having to work within. It's too sloppy. So I matched the top of the windows here. All right. Bring this up a little bit to match those lines better. It is just drawing, so please forgive the drawing. I'm going to deselect all these and that. Shift click my verts. Make sure nothing else is selected. That was weird earlier. All right. I have to be very careful to not actually start breaking out in the song while I'm doing this. Normally I'm working with this playing and I would be just jamming with them, especially this song. All right, there we go. So now look at it. See? Look at that. Let me hit P for perspective, just so you guys can get a better understanding of that. See? And I can, that material editor over here, I'm just lowering that transparency for a second, just so we can see what we're making here. All right? See? Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. All right? So let's up that transparency back up a little bit. All right. Let's go back into our orthographic view. I'm just going to hit F for front. Okay, I'm going to have to check these edges here up top. Oh, that's why I was looking through the object. Say, be careful. Don't just start, oh, look, my windshield is too far over. I select these verts. I'm going to start moving them. Stop. Oh, that's the back side, not the front. I'm fine. Hey, let's take a look back here. All right. So I can fine tweak this. Match that window a little closer if I wanted. Let's see, straighten some of these out just a bit. So they just look and flow better. Like those should not be that far forward, I'm thinking. Let's look at it from the top though, and then go to the front. Okay, no, they are there. See? Always double check because you're dealing with transparency and you're seeing through. If it's going to throw you off, I mean, you just got to keep toggling your viewports. Check your stuff. I do use one big viewport a lot, guys. I don't use the multi ones a lot just because I can flip through them quick. But down here, I better show you this. And this icon down here, maximize viewport toggle. I already have it on. So there's my quad. So I've been working in here. I can set this as like my perspective, or this one as perspective to get an idea what's going on here in perspective view. I could say this is an ortho view of what, I don't know, top, front, maybe. And yeah, I could set it up like that, and then yeah, I could say this is maybe left, right, yo left, there. And this is how a lot of people work. I just like my stuff big, so I don't mind twirling around and re-correcting it and whatnot. Now, a lot of times, some people will create another setup right here. So you can click on this and say, hey, I want a side-by-side. Or say, I mean, you got some possibilities. You can have a perspective over here, and then your options are, you got a lot of options here. So I can say side-by-side. I want this to be maybe perspective. I'll say just default shading. And yeah, I could have that like that. And then this could be my ortho over here. And I could move this over. I do use this a lot too. So, I mean, I can use this viewport right here just fine. Oh, that's a wireframe. That's why I'm like, where's my images? All right. F4. There, let's get that edge faces on there. So, yeah, I'm twirling around an orthographic view, whether it's front or right, or yeah, I'm working primarily here, but I can at least see something here, or I can maybe even make a selection here, which could be easier. Let's hit F4 so I can see my edge faces on this thing. There. So that can make my selections easier, and then if I want, I just there we go. So yeah, that helps. So I'm gonna select these edges right here, deselect. Watch this. This is crazy. I don't want you. Take this across. That looks good. So all those selected. Watch this. Let's take it up. Shift drag. Come over here. And then I can move these in a little bit. I know they're going to go in at a curve. I can come over here, hit T for top. And see, I can match my lines right there. Haha. See. Now this is a picture drawing, so there we go. But there's that curve. Now if this is if that perspective's too intense for you, see, look at that. Ugh, I don't like that sharp. Down here, you can change your field of view. Click this. See, that gets whoa crazy. See, if I go up and then I'll just go back to my zoom. There we go. Now I can go back to my move tool and I'm good. All right. So now the perspective's just not quite as sharp. I think it looks a little better. That guy, that's got to come in. I can already tell you that. Or maybe not. I'll take a look at it later. That does look a little crazy. Oh. That's too far in. That should have been right there. This. Let's deselect all this other stuff because this ain't gonna hurt doing this. Bring that in. Voila. If I get silent every now and then, some of these I'll probably be fast forwarding these in my edit, maybe. All right, because otherwise, if I fast forward it, I'll have students. Oh, you went too fast. Like, sorry. So you'll just have to suffer. See, there's so many ways to make selections. Now this edge right here, let's not get too panicky over, because remember Z to zoom in. It's lined up there. I think these side and the side and fronts are probably more accurate detail wise, uh, since I had to base that one off of something from another blueprint. So, all right. So let's continue, shall we? Try and play that form a little bit to make it look like it's just a little more rounded. It just doesn't seem right. Let me look in front view here. Okay, this edges, we need to fix this stuff before we go any further. These, yeah, we really need to clean up this edge. Oh Lord, and that one too. What a mess, Matthew. Okay, let's see here. I want to select these. I don't want to move those edges. Let's nudge these out. Maybe down. Let's take a look at the side view. Make sure we're not really jacking that up. Okay, now. And for those of you Weisenheimers that are like, gosh, this is just taking forever to watch, well, you can fast forward. There's just some people that might need more help. I'm trying to be as helpful to everybody as I can. Not everybody's got the same skill set. So, we've all started at the beginning at some point, and that's what I'm just trying to help some people who are new to this. Get a good solid start learning how to do this, because this is fun. It's totally different. I mean, a lot of people do have to realize this isn't graphic design or film or sound. Everything's different. Everything has its own different processes and times to do things. Time. This is tedious. I will admit it's tedious. Uh, that's why I just make sure I got my hot cup of tea and got my music. And yes, you will hear me. This will probably get a lot of people not liking my channel. Yes, I smoke. So, bad habit. I do not endorse it at all. Please do not misinterpret me. My wife is a cancer survivor. My brother is going through it. I get it. I need to quit. I hate this stuff, but it relaxes me. I've been doing it for 30 years. So anyway, let's try and get back to this instead of my bad smoking habits. Let's see here. That just seems a little off. Oh, there, Matthew. Let's turn constraints off for a second so it doesn't move all in there. Let's see here. I'm looking at some of those edges there. It's almost like looking at wireframe mode, you know. You just get to see through your object. I'm just trying to get some curves. So I'm basically trying to get back to what I did earlier, which is this. Let's see. That's what we're going for. So that's what I'm working on. I'm just trying to get that corner. That's all. I'm trying to get that before we extrude out and then in anymore. Yeah, I want to establish that because then we're going to do one big drag over and it'll be pretty complete at that point, at least for a low poly model. And, you know, for those that are taking a class of mine or whatnot, you know, yeah, we got to do this. We'll do low poly. You know, everybody's, like I said, everybody has their skill set. I am not going to hurt someone, you know, whether it was a grade or something. You know, if you had to take my class mandatory or not. So, you know, I do try to be fair here. And I know this is tedious, but hey, Rome wasn't built without breaking a few eggs, you know? Before I get a comment about that comment, I know I say things, I can't say that word in case. Well, we're all adults here. Why not? I was going to say back ass words. All right. This is my YouTube channel. I'll say what I want, huh? All right. So, it's looking pretty. Okay. And now, you see that little triangle that's showing? It's faceting. I'm faceting the polygon area a little bit too much because it's like taking a piece of paper and folding it in half, essentially, is what you're doing. If you can keep your edges, so watch this. If I move these forward, this should start to go away. Say, see, the more I do, let's go to the top view so I don't mess my alignment completely up. Oh, let's see here. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Sorry, my music ran out, and now I'm listening to Dark Side of the Moon. I know I'm going to get comments from some of my students. Gee, Mr. Ford. Well, breathe, breathe again. That's what I got to tell you. All right. Let's grab an edge here. And let's do some magic. Let's shift drag that bad boy. Oh. And we're going to grab scale tool, scale that in on the X. Yeah, one too many Kung Fu movies. Now, you can never have too many Kung Fu movies. Go into your world, and on X, let's right click that arrow. A lot of people want to dial these, or hey, if you want to go to the lowest value on these spindles, on these little dials, just right click on it. There, it's zeroed. Breathe, breathe again. Okay, so now before I do that though, this whole edge here is going to stay straight all the way down. So what I think I'm going to do is, while I still got this straight line, bring that there, shift drag over, and then right click that. And that way it gives me an establishing nice straight edge there. All right, and then from there, that way if I got a swift loop, see how that stays straight there, but then as I start moving it, it starts warping further to match this edge, which is great. But yeah, you just gotta watch it. Every time I hear that lyric, "Run, rabbit, run," I always think of Rob Zombie's Otis from House of a Thousand Corpses. Oh my lord. I'm like, that was creepy. Alright, let's bring that this way just a bit. Technically, that should be right there. Yeah. See how that threw that crap off there, guys? Yeah. So, here, let's just tweak this a little bit with the scale. Do that in place. Yeah. Let's grab these guys. Scale it. Needs to be just a little bit wider. Bring that over this way. And that oddball. There we go. Okay. I'm going to pause this a second to check my Poochie again real quick. Okay, I'm back. I'm glad I paused it because my poor Poochie, he had to go potty again. I've got a doggy door here in my office, which leads right outside to a fenced-in backyard for him. So, yeah, I talk about him a lot. He's a good old boy, a cancer survivor. He's just a great dog. So, just had to check on him. Then I'll let him out. Hear some barking out there, and not from him because he never barks. It's neighbor's dog, and I'm like, what? There's a critter back there. I'm like, no. All right, let's check these lines here. I'm just getting. I like to make sure my flow's good, my lines are good, because the thing is, we're going to be doing some cuts here, and to make some of these other elements and start make some quick extrusions. You want these. You want to make sure your stuff's in line. That's why this doesn't look right to me. It should be matching the windshield there. And then those guys need to come up. There we go. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And then this. Ooh, wonder how that got up there. All right. All right. That's looking pretty good. All right. Now, yeah, I could have drug those over at the same time. Oh well, you get to see another way of doing it. Normally, I would have drugged those over at the same time. Come here, dude. Yeah, you just don't look right up there. Yeah, he was. I keep forgetting that That thing will throw you off, man. You keep looking at it at different angles, and you're like, what? All right. So let's take that over. We'll cap it. We'll do some extrusions. All right. So think of your plan here. Moving around so much it went wonky. All right. We look at top view. I always just check. I know I'm a worry word. I'm not worried about this. This section here with the visors. All right. Can't remember what that's called. We're just gonna make a window, and then later on we can base that geometry as separate objects to pop out those quick whatever they're called. I'm gonna get smacked by some of my buddies for not knowing what that's called. They're all gearheads, and I'm not. I just like watching and learning. I try my best, but all right. Let's see. That lines up good there. These should. Let's see what needs to come up. You know what? Home again. And I can. All right, just move those up there. That'll give us a better curve. This little dude here, not you, the one that's up top. And then, because I went straight up on those, straighten these up a little bit because I can. And yes, I might take a little too much attention to detail here. I know. Other people would bust this out. I'm going to explain a little bit about my workflow here. I am not traditionally a mechanical type modeler. I like organic modeling. So, and a lot of people find that more difficult. They're like, oh. I do have an easier time with just natural things. I'd rather model a tree than a car, or I'd rather model a character than a car or whatever. I don't have a mechanical aptitude, so I'm not as good with automobiles and stuff like that as a lot of my friends are or whatnot. But I understand nature very well. Yeah, I'm really into trees, just animals, nature. I love animals. I just want to make sure these edge flows are right, because if you start adding swift loops in here and these aren't set, trying to straighten out a bunch of bad edges is just a nightmare, guys. Trust me, it's terrible. It's not a good feeling. And as tedious as this is, and I would much rather be moving on at this point, trust me. Okay, that's looking good. All right, let's take a look at the stuff. Top. Let's we can twirl around perspective here from that. All right, see, look at that. Now, remember what I told you about these toggle buttons over here? Take a look at what that looks like. Symmetry turned on. Now, and we're going to be paying attention to these. These might shift. The center line might shift on us at time to time, and you'll see like some weird little triangle type thing popping out. You just know you got to go back into your sub-object mode and select those, flatten them with scale, zero them out, next, boom. Happens to me all the time, so I'm always having to fix that. No, it's no biggie. Now, all right, this is where pain in the keister can come into play. How do we fill these in the back? Um, Sometimes it's easier shift dragging these, dragging them down. When I did drag these over, I could have drug them over too. I wasn't going to go back and undo that many undos just to fix that little thing. So you get to see me fix this. But I would have selected, when I did that edge here, the fronts and shift drag, and then these would have already been made. Oh, the story of my life. That's all right. So, which ones do we want to select and drag over, though? That's the question. So, let's select these. Do the same thing, control click these. That should have selected all those. Okay. Here's perspective. Let's try and pay attention to what's going on here. We'll do some changes here. I'm going to go ahead and shift drag over from the left, from the side over, and then straighten my edges, and then, because I think it'll be easier for me to do a swift loop here and here to match these. So I'm going to deselect those. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a nice 4 number too. I like that. Okay. Money. That's about ready to kick in. All right, let's see here. All right, that guy. No. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, I just went with that edge. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Oh, my heating pad kicked off. Oh no. Gotta have my heating pad on. Ugh. Thought it was starting to get a little cold. All right. So now, with those all selected, I can do it from any angle. I mean, any viewport. Whatever's easiest for you. Shift drag over in the X. Here, let's go into front. And then we can see what's going on right here. This is a part where mistakes can happen. So shift drag over. Don't be alarmed. We're seeing straight through. So we're seeing the front and back at the same time. So I'm gonna grab the scale tool then, flatten those bad boys out. Say, come hither. Flatten out. Flatten you out. And then I'm gonna grab the move tool, and I'm gonna do these first. Right click, 0. Double click those, 0. Now they're all lined up. Now we're going to have a gap. Yeah, we're going to have to connect these at some point. No problem. How many, before we go connecting though, we've got 1, 2, 3 up top. So and it should be the same back here. 1, 1, 2, 3. So let's grab the swift loop. And why don't I do a nice view here? What the heck am I looking at right there? Okay, that's that line going through. And if the transparency's throwing you off, I mean, you can dial it down. just where it's just a little bit see-through, so you can see where to make a cut here. So right about there, and I think that matches up the back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that same thing here because I like tight edges. Do it over here, constrain my edge, and just drag it over. All right. And you know what I just did that I could have done too? Say, don't be afraid to undo or delete. I'm going to take the bumpers. Might as well do them too, you know? I'm not going to get the fender. Don't worry about thickness of the body or bringing that under. We're going to put a shell on that later. You know, for a finishing touch, I would. And it's a good way to start. And then you can put edit poly on top of that if you need to. Whatever. So let's shift drag this over again. Oh no. Constraints are still on. Shift drag. Scale. I can shift, click those verts, see what happens. See, you get different results depending on the sub object you're in. I can then grab my move tool, zero those out. Cool. Now let's go back in the edge, grab my swift loop. I'll make a cut here. I'll do a really straight one here. And it should be going all the way under. Yep. Which is the desired result. Turn on my constraints. Move it over here to line that up. Because we want it to flow. Be like water, flow. Alright, man, here. Swift loop it. And right there for the light. Boom. Oop. Constraints are still on. Wonderful. Say, I understand copyrights and everything. Famous people. But, yeah, I'm just sitting here chilling, talking on YouTube, trying to show people stuff, and it'd be nice to just really jam out to it, you know? Yeah, I'm doing a totally different method here, people, so don't be alarmed about this, alright? I think you might know where I'm going with it. So, we got that, we got that. Okay, let's bridge these bad boys. Didn't mean to deselect it. Didn't mean to get all quiet on y'all. What did M.E.Ford do right there? I didn't have one there. Oh, because of that. Alright, well, let's take a look. Where can we put a cut in there to fix that triangle issue that would result from that? So basically, what can we do to get that? Alright, this is where You know, why you new guys would panic, be like, oh crap, I guess I'm just gonna have a triangle. I don't know. Well, let's just get creative with it. That was supposed to be bottom. Could have came up. Hmm. Decisions. We're gonna need to be making a bunch of cuts in here. I just didn't want to make them too soon because I wanted to show you what smoothing groups were gonna do. I'm just trying to think of the best place to put that. Or yeah, piss on it. I'll probably have people from the school be like, someone, why does he say that? Well, this is my YouTube channel. That's why. Let's see here. We're all adults. Let's just target weld this guy up here. Boom, boom, boom. Why overthink it? Oh, for Pete's sakes. All right. Now let's grab these verts. Let's make sure they're nice and lined up. That's a little too high on the hood there, ain't it? That edge goes there. Just a matter of fixing these, man. I mean, because you're going to separate like hoods later. Or, I mean, you don't know. I mean, yeah, you can keep this as a low poly, but that might not be what you want. Say Michael J. Fox calls you and is like, hey, can you hook me up with a 3D model of my DeLorean? Are you going to tell that poor guy no? He's a great actor. Come on, man. He wants you to do him a solid. I'd do it in a heartbeat. So he wants it. Put me in that car. So you might be a VFX guy, all right? You got to take this thing apart. You have to access certain elements of it. Ooh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go through all that trouble selecting these. I'd just rather do it this way. But yeah, I mean, you don't know if you're going to have to like dissect this thing later. Ah, shucks. Here. I'm going to turn on soft selection because those are annoying me and I'm tired of bouncing around. Come here. So, in case you're not familiar with soft selection, let's get rid of that vertex properties, edit vertices. We don't need to close all this stuff out. I don't need it. I just want soft selection. I can change the fall off. It's by default really high. So you see the colors change. Looks like rainbow bright, right? So I want those 100, reds 100%. Just trying to get in on those side ones. They're pretty far away. Soft selection ain't really going to work on those that well. I think I just need to flatten them out. Soft selection ain't even going to do me any good at this point, really. And I'm not going to nail people if you're taking this as a class of mine, uh, getting this nitpicky. You're watching this, I don't. You can fast forward a lot of this. I'll let you guys know that too. Hey, I don't want to bore the death out of you. That needs to come way in. Let's constrain those and see if Z. Yeah, that'll move me. Same with you guys, man. You need to come down. This is nitpicky stuff, and like I said, I'm just sitting here chilling out to some music. Pay attention to your lines. And I think that's a little bit too. Oh shoot! No problem. No, let's move you just back. Yeah, I'll just turn it off. All right. I know those look a little funky, but don't worry. It does serve a purpose. Just want these to flow well here before we go too crazy. Say it's 11 o'clock and all's well. I do a lot of goofy references, guys, to different movies. I always tell people, can you name me that? A lot of times they can't. Like that was a little reference that I just did to a Walt Disney cartoon movie, Robin Hood. With the animals, the foxes, and stuff. All right, we got those. We got those. All right, watch us. I should probably, in all fairness, warn you, I should probably just do this each side, one side at a time. But the Digital Cowboy is a rebel. Now, I'm just trying to give it a shot. Extrude that out. That's good. That's good. Oh, wow. Pretty cool. That matched up pretty good on both sides. All right, say okay. Okay. Now, just a matter of moving some verts around. All right. This is a nice establishing line. These need to come back. All right. These, same thing. Need to come back and down. To match all that up. And oh well, decisions, right? Match that edge. They don't have to be perfectly straight. I mean, see, I can have a slight curve because we're gonna put turbo smooth on it, and so curves are fine. You just gotta know the right times and places to use them. Like this looks too choppy. I can bring that down. These guys, yeah. See, I rotated it very carefully. I made sure I didn't accidentally like skew that stuff around. I can do the same thing right here. The lunatic is in the hall. What? Gonna be no one in my hall. That dog's fired. And yeah, my daughters even will tell you, wow, you're corny. No room on the hill. How about the dark side of the moon? All right. Well, according to flat earthers, we've never been to the moon, so sorry to tell you, Pink Floyd, but you see me nowhere. Okay, that's a jab. Some people. All right, so let's get some craziness here and straighten that, constrain those so we can keep our form. Watch, watch your form. Constrain proportions will help you. I'm gonna try and drag these up and see what happens here. I don't like how it's moving all that though. Oh, fat fingered it. On the dark side of the moon. Oh, it's twisting. I think the constraints. I want to save right here. Let's try. That's normals. Sometimes changing the faces. Ah, there. That's what I want. Alright, let's see if I can. I want that edge to move. But you know what? I'm just being ridiculous right now. There. Let's just do it that way. Doesn't that make a whole heck of a lot of sense? I think so. All right. So now I will tell those students that I have that because this is really boring watching me do this. I need to get some kind of license for music to put on or for you guys to hear. Or maybe I could put on some kind of music, at least on the background, after I edit. Let's put on Turbo Smooth here, guys. And let's turn that material opacity down. And see that thing I told you about there? There, it looks like a, yeah, looks like a little butt. All right, well, what that is, my edge got unstraight somewhere, or a vert needed welded or something. So let's turn these things off. Let's see how that broke. That means there are two verts there. So if I select that area where it looks like there's just one vert, and if I say weld, let's bring up the weld settings. 289 before, 289 after. Oh, that's weird. It should have went. Oh, guys, yeah, that's why. When I extruded here, you don't want. I knew I was forgetting something. You don't want polygons on the inside of your symmetry. It just was a result of my extrude when I extrude those faces out. So I can hit delete. All right. I don't know what did I just hit. Oh, let's say, what was that? And it looks like I'm missing another one right there. Huh? That was weird. Hmm. Interesting. Once I hit turbo smooth, though, it goes. Okay. Let's say smooth in groups, and nothing's going to happen now because there's a default there. Let's go into polygon mode. Let's select every polygon we got. All right. Now, by default, see there's 1 and 2 here. Let's clear them out. Let's have none. That's annoying the heck out of me. I'm just testing it. Iterations. Alright, so display. I want to see what it's doing. Symmetry. It says weld. Well, we'll take a further look later. There's got to be something. Something's rotten in Denmark. Could be this is pulling it somehow. I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's all right. All right. Let's separate this up. So if we look at it this way, let's turn our transparency up a little bit so we can see what we're selecting through. This area of polygons. these. All those. Uh-huh. You know what? No, we don't want these. I'll show you why. So let's deselect these. All right. Let's say that's going to be number 1. Work our way up. All right. These guys, I don't want. I just want the bumper. I'll leave the bumpers. I'll delete that. Yeah, that's. I just want the bumpers going under, not the rest. All right. So got those selected. We're gonna do the same thing back here. Everything here. That can be number 2. This guy here, except for those. Not you. Oh, stupid YouTube ads there. All right, so we got those. Got those. Those going all the way across. That's that one piece, so that can be number 3. So each one's selected, and now we can really quick, if we ever need to, make a selection, do all that. And that shouldn't have been part of that. So let's clear that out. All right. And let's take a look at that picture. Oh, yeah, that'll be all right. All right. I'd say select. All right. Those are looking good. We'll get that lip in a bit. I'll show you that. Now, these guys right here. I'm thinking that edge don't look right. Go to the show. Show. Oh, my computer's bogging or something. So don't bog down. Oh, it ain't gonna move because constraints were on. I'm like, why is that moving? That didn't even flatten out right. All right, cool. So got those, got those, got those, got all that. Here's my picture. See, they got that whole big black strip under there, and we've never done that necessarily in the past, but we absolutely can now, which it just makes sense. So let's go with this. Is that on the wheel well too? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it goes all the way into the wheel well. Yeah. Yep. This is a beautiful model, guys. Whoever did that is just amazing. That was great. All right. I was just checking something. Let's see. I don't know. Here. So make it a little thicker because that that got too thin, man. Oh, but I had the new tool selected. All right. And then these polygons. All right. With those selected, that is going to be a separate smoothing. Let's try and keep rows organized with these smoothing groups here. I'm going to keep this all the way at tail end. I'm going to do the same thing with these. And that'll be 7. So that'll be 7, 8. And then I've got those. 1, 2, 3. And then I can select these guys. Take off these. It's already got a lot of them selected. These guys. That's going to be group that all rounds. If you look, it all does round into it. So these are just sharp corners, edges that you see these 3 here together just to tighten up an already smooth group. All right. So yeah, we can not name that 1. We can name it 9 instead. And looks like the whole, yeah, that whole piece. The bottom. That'd be 9. Brick in the wall. So that could be like 11, because this up here is going to be 10. So that'll be like 9, 10, because I did a 1 and a 2. So a 9 and a 10. You know, that's how I try to keep track of these smoothing groups. All right, and then let's come over here to the front end. See, this is a 3. What did I say these were? Idiot. That's a 9. So those could be, obviously, 9. Now, where did I separate that at? Oh, didn't. Because I said that was 3, that was 2, that was 1, that should be 1 also. So that's 9. Oh, that should be 9. That's 3. Oh, this should be 11. And then all those guys should be 9 or 10. I mean, 10. So now let's get out of that poly. Let's turn this off a second. And then let's get rid of the transparency. And yes, it's going to irk me. I will figure out what's causing that. Don't worry. And there's your car. Okay. At this point, for you students, if you were a class of mine and you were to stop right here, I'd say this is like a high C. High C, low B, depending on other things. You know, I'd be looking for naming, all that kind of stuff, your technical stuff, name your files. That'd be low B, high C. Now from here, file save. I could separate the Windows polygroups. So I know that's a window. That is. All this is. You know, always look at your references, which is what I do over here off the side. I think these two. Because that's the bumper, you need metal in the back. Okay. Or, no, you don't. All right, I'm just going to say that's glass, because, yeah. All right, so that could be glass. So we could even make a new row, deselect that number 2, and we could say, hey, we're going to keep the glass down here, keep that a little separate, man. 17. All right, so now when we go up and get out of here, go into turbo smooth. You know, it's trying. Now, you see that? No inset is going to fix that. All right. I can't go into polygon mode here. I can't select these polygons and inset it. That's not going to correct the problem. It needs, on these corners, it needs like 90-degree perpendicular offshoots. You know, the lines or edge loops running parallel to it and intersecting at nice angles to establish that. So here, watch a swift loop. Enough talking. Let me turn this off. Watch us. I know that's my edge. I can see those orange lines. Look at that. It snapped right to it, didn't it? I can see my orange lines right here. So, boom. Need no education. Snap there. Snap there. See? Making these perpendicular lines on each side. Here, let's turn this off so you can see. On each side of the windows. Top, inside. Follow the edges. Go for it. Down here, you need some. One right there. Here, I want to get close. All in all, we're just a. Actually, yeah, you do. You do need a little bit of education. You just don't need people like Wah telling you stuff. Hey, man, I keep it real with everybody. I am far from perfect. I don't teach this stuff because I am perfect. I teach it because I've made a lot of mistakes and I'm still learning. I am still a growing artist. I really do need to jump in and do more mechanical stuff really to help my skills with this more. Not that I'm a moron here. I mean, I know where I'm looking for. You know, hey, remember these back side windows? We didn't do those. Let's lower that transparency. Or up the transparency, I should say. Ha ha ha. Oh, let's move these guys. This edge. Make sure constraints is on. Let's back this up here. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Just, oh, shoot. Yeah. So we're kind of lining them up with these things. The visors. Nothing wrong with doing this. Be afraid. Be very afraid. I'm just joking, guys. So these constraints are just wonderful. Don't forget about them, guys. How can you have any pudding? How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Because I'm a grown adult and I'll eat what the heck I want when I want. How about that, schmuck? Alright, let's see here. Okay, got these bumpers. That is just really destroying my sense of like, where is that coming from? There's some kind of vert issue somewhere. See, it lets me glide it just fine. Three's on. I've got that center selected. Edge. See? Uh-huh. Really? That's at 0. Let's make sure these are scaled. Grab the move tool. They are, in fact, zeroed. That's weird. Okay, it just took me moving them and back and forth like that guy kicking his hat down the road as he's trying to pick it up. But there we go. All right, yeah, this right here, is as long as you see, turn on the layer manager here, bring this over, turn on net tire. All right, we did the smoothing groups here already. All right, let's select the tire. I'm gonna put that transparent, that transparent materials on both of them. I'm just gonna scale it then just to leave it on the radius. Okay. And that all looks pretty good. I mean, we could adjust these edges and, it's, that's going to hit the wheel well. Well, okay. Then fix it. That's what all right. So let's shift this over. Actually, before I get going on that, let's get as much done this as possible here. Let's go into edge. Or how about polygon? Yeah, that sounds better. Okay, I just want to select those polygons right there. Shift that. I want those edges, all right? Let's go into here. And, oh yeah, polygon, delete, delete, edge. Edges should be selected, yes. And the reason why I do that is that was a big nasty, sorry, I had to adjust my headphones. That was a big old nasty 16 buck 16 point end gun. So let's grab the scale tool, shift drag on the Y and Z. All right, there, shift drag that. I'm gonna bring this down in here because guess what? If you look at, oh, the wonderful photos that Mr. Ford has given you guys, wherever the heck it is here. I have hubcaps in here too, guys. I mean, all these hubcaps. Oh, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful and the best renders of this I've ever seen. I'm telling you what, guys, if you whipped out something like that in this class to me and said, here, I'll tell you, you'd ace my advanced 3D, the advanced modeling class for that. Holy schmoly. This is a really good model. I'll tell you what, if you did something this complex for this assignment in this class, you've aced it. All right, you've gotten an A in my class. And I'll even say this, you've gotten an A no matter what. If you did this out of what we've just been doing, separate these parts up, use logical things. I'll show you, I'll open up the one I did just real quick yesterday, and I put lights in the headlights real quick. I didn't get even this detailed, nowhere near this detailed, and that would have been an A. If you did this in my class, though, right now, I don't care what you've got so far in my class. You've aced my class. I will give you a 100% in my class if you whip that out for this assignment. I'll count that as your final, man, because that's just beautiful detailed. All right. So let's get back into this. There is a hole there. Oh, why did I close that? Or did I? Yes, I did. Matthew Ford. I'm very bad at that. I will be talking and I'll hit X instead of just minimizing it. I can never just minimize it. Terrible, terrible, terrible. All right, here's a hubcap, see? So I'm just going to leave that hole there in the center. We can put something in there or whatever later, because it's got this. I'm not going to worry about these holes or anything like that. I would just use an image for a low poly version like this. Use an image. And a lot of times here, let's just shrink it all the way down. No one's going to see this. You zoom all the way in. I mean, yeah, you might have a little pin. All right, now, this is where I need to show you guys how to fix these pinholes, all right, that I make. Grab your edge. Remember, I did 16. So I'm going to take these edges here. And the cool thing with me doing a cursor drag like that, zoom out, it did both sides. Here, let's isolate this selection. Got the card pretty much done. So we got those selected. Let's hit bridge. Really? All right, it's not going to let us. It's too confused. Say it lets you here, so we'll have to just do the backside later. Or no one's even going to see that backside. It's going to be hidden, so who cares? We can leave that open. Bridge. Who's better? Bridge. Doesn't take a rocket scientist here. Here, I'm tired of doing this. I thought there. Select this edge, bring it we're going to do a cut. I'm going to use connect. The reason why I do is because I know it's dead center. And it won't warp if I hold shift down as opposed to swift loop. Target, weld that to that, and that to that. It's a bit of a pain in the butt, and then what I like to do is grab swift loop. And I'll just do that to help establish just a break. And this guy, if I'm not going to cap it and no one's going to see it, I'll go ahead and scale it back up then, because there's no point making it that small and then have you wonder what is really there. No one's going to see it. All right. And if we wanted, we could even scale this one up to be, let's hide my side view. View side. Do. Select them. Loop. Now I can move them both at the same time. Go ahead and make that the center little bubble. That's going to be right about there. Grab swift loop on the outside. There's a lip here, a lip here. So those are our surfaces. We're going to go into our poly, and we're going to do the same thing we always do. I'm going to select all these guys. I don't want to accidentally move stuff, so make sure I'm just those are all selected. I'm going to call that one, oh man, there, let's just clear all that out. I hate it when it does that, and I always forget to do it. So let's say, oh, that's all one. Well, the whole thing's one. We'll just work our way out. Control A, so I selected everything, everything's one. This is another way you can work backwards. Deselect that. This will be number 2. Let's see here, number 2. You say this is going to be number 3. Just work our way out. And let's see what else I've selected here. All right. That's going to be my tire. I can say not number 3, but number 9 instead. Do the tire a little separate there. And then let's add a swift loop back here where the tire needs to be. That was right there. Let's double check these polygons back here, see what the heck's going on. I'm just going to turn my back on selection, ignore back facing, because I don't want to keep accidentally selecting that front that I did. So what I say, that was number 2. Yeah, that makes sense. And then the tires were number 9, so this guy is not number 2. He's number 9. All right. And then swift loop. Polygon. What's that? That was 3, 2. I want that to be 3. And then I'm going to extrude that back. I'm going to select these polygons, delete them. I don't need them. Like I said, no one's going to see that back, but this is just going to help with like lighting. You know, maybe you're going to be animating that tire and like turning it. You know, you don't want it to be totally bare there. So edge, let's select these edges. Now there's curvature here. So this is going to go back. See, like a little cone. I can look at it from this side view and I can determine how far back I want to go. Now with those smoothing groups having been selected, let's put on turbo smooth. Let's turn F4 off, and you can see it looks like a weird here. Let's fix the transparency there. And you can see that looks kind of weird, you know. Where's those sharp edges? Well, hey, remember smooth groups? There. There we go. Now, it needs to be more rounded instead of like a, I don't know, Madonna dress act from her shows. You know, it needs to be more round. Well, and then there is another edge right here where these don't come down as far. I mean, say, it's there. Let's try to find a better angle for everybody. Right there. I can put an edge there. This, I'm probably bowing way too much, you know, with that Madonna thing. Anyway, I'll smooth that out here. Let's go into edge because I don't need to go back that far. I was just showing you that more for the sake of. Now, swift loop. Let's hit F4. If I hold down the shift key, let's turn this off. It wants to find the center. And either it's going to bow it more inward or outward. You don't know until you hit it. It bowed it inward. I'll just bring it forward. That'll give me that curve I want. Those are already flat. And what I could do is select these polygons here, move them in just a wee bit, and it'd be nice to maybe line them up in side view at F3. I can use wireframe here real quick. I'm going to do the same thing here. Come in the same amount, make it nice and even. There we go. F3. Deselect. Get out of that. don't think those polygons, sometimes some don't get selected and do the smoothing groups right, so double check your smoothers here. I can't see what I'm selecting because of that. F4. Why ain't you selecting me, jerk? I don't know what's going on with that guy. Yeah, none of those are selected. That's why it was still hard. Oh, I should just say that since that's going inward, I'll just make it separate 8. All right, got that 3, 8. All right, there we go. That's a lot smoother. F4 to look at it in all its glory. All right. Something looked like weird happened there. I know what it is. Is that Swift loop? When I hit shift. Oops, sorry, I almost said something bad. There. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get a grip on those jerks. All right, because he just, I don't know, I just keep envisioning just a pointy something that I just want to flatten that more. All right, that's I think looking a little better. All right, now let's get back to business here, guys. I'm sorry about that little zone out moment. All right, here we go. That's your tire. F3. Beautiful. F4. Isolate. There's your tire. Shift drag it. This is not rear, but front driver's side. And I'm going to grab the scale tool. I'm going to go into the element though. I'm going to select the whole element. Trust me, it just works better if you're using the scale tool on something like this. Do it in the element. Grab my scale tool, X, Y, and Z, because even the front tire is a little bit thinner than that front, I believe. If not, then it would have just been X and Y and but live with it. All right, guys. This is it for the modeling portion of the low poly There's your DeLorean. Now, you know, that guy, you could turn around, hit mirror, make a copy. We want to flip it. There he is. Rename that. Drive side, front. That's front rear. Front passenger side, I mean. And then I can do the same thing with that. Hit mirror. Last thing should have been saved. Move it back. Rename it. That's rear passenger. Going to front. Wireframe F3. I can line these up. Move it in. Yeah, that's about where the others are. Right about there. Okay. Control S to save. F4. All right. Now, when you guys are, you know, if you're in a class of mine, I'm asking you for screen captures. Don't take this right here. Do a screen capture from here to here and call it it. I want to see smoothing groups and stuff. Yeah, I select the guy. You know, hit perspective if you want. Perspective looks a little better. Hit F4. Let me see your edge faces. You know, I don't need to see the ribbon, so if you want, you can minimize that toggle right there. Bring that up. And then just grab your snip tool here. This little dialog guide comes here. Hit new. Do the whole thing. And then that way, I can see that. So hit File, Save As. I'm putting them in my render output. I made a folder called Lab 11 Captures. It's in that folder. Use the project folder here, guys. Oh, please. So this is like a capture. I already have a series of them here. It's like a front 3/4 view. I can 01 capture, you know, and then put your name here. Just put your name. Well, you know, name it how it's supposed to be named, guys. If you're in a class of mine, name it how it's supposed to be named. You know, lab 11 underscore. You know, so when if I got to download them, this is for my own files. So sorry, guys. I'm just going to name it something new. Okay. This is from the video. So why don't I just write video? Capture from the video. All right. So yeah, just save that, and then you can give me a couple. Change the angles. So, you did that once. Let me see the top. Let me see. Check, show me your stuff right there. That didn't sound quite right. But if you want to go further with this, we've got 2 weeks. This is the first. There's more weeks involved. I'm going to break this down. Let's do a file save. File. I'm going to open the previous one I did, one of my tests. Show you. Let's go into perspective. Okay, so there's the car, F4. Now, there it is. I got multi-sub-object materials on there. All my smoothing groups, F4. I didn't do the back. I was running out of time. I wanted to hurry up and get this video made. But look at even the bottom, F4. Look at that. So I can turn these off so I can show you. That's what I got, low poly. All right. Then that's with the symmetry. And then with turbo smooth. All the proper smoothing groups. I have lights even in there. So like if I turn this on, if I was going to go to render, active shade, just do a quick active shade here to show you what's going on with the scene. I just made a ground plane and a little road, put materials separate for them. The body is a multi-sub object material, the gray plastic, blackish plastic, gray car paint, rubber, and then glass. So I only have 3. Let's do a quick render so you can see the lights that you can put in there. So yeah, you can see the headlights right there. So got that going on. I even added, for my own amusement, for my file here, let's open up my layer manager. I got environment, so there's the environment. There's my views, they're hid. There's the DeLorean. There's also, I put the tires on a separate layer, separate front. So I got DeLorean model, DeLorean tires. Then I've got my lights. So here's my lights in my scene. I made 2 instances here of lights, the rectangle lights. Set a spot, and then I've got an array up here. So if I select that array, I can grab the move tool. I can move the entire array down. I can grab the scale tool, bring them in closer to my car if I want. Bring them down. Oop. And then I'll show you what that does. So it just lights the scene up more. So I have them selected here. You see how it's just lighting up my scene. So I can bring that out. I grab my scale tool like I did earlier. Scale them out. See what just happened. Just bringing those light arrays in closer. So those are just physical lights. I could have made them spots or spotlights or whatever, but I just wanted a little bit of control over some global illumination here. So that, if you pull this off, you've got an A for the class, for this assignment. This is a solid 100% for this assignment right here. If you do this, you got 100%. Boom. Yeah, you're done. So you aced this assignment. So I'll save that. I'm going to exit out of that. Let's go ahead and go back and open up that last one. So, and this right here, this would be a solid, if you did this right here, this is a good solid B plus even. If you did this, this is a solid B plus, all right? I'll give you that. When you start putting the materials on it and separating that stuff, like I did in the other file, that's definitely A, and then leading into an A plus for the assignment. All right, so you guys heard it. Yes, I'm sorry I'm moving around. It's getting late, and I'm gonna go ahead and end this video and edit it, get it put on YouTube, get this out there for you guys. And I hope this helped. I am going to put a more advanced, I'm going to go further with this at some point. I'm going to separate the windshield. I'm going to separate this as objects. If you look at how I have this laid out, and if you look at how the other one was laid out, and I will open it for you real quick before I end this video, because I like jumping all over the place here. If you look at that, I can, this is all one object, but I can separate this bumper. I can detach it. I can detach that. I can detach the hubs from the tires if I wanted. The windows from that as all separate objects, not use a multi-sub object material. And then I could like put individual shells, depths on these, just to really start giving it some more thickness and detail. But I mean, that would be way even more advanced. That, I mean, when you do something like that, you're getting into this, guys. That's what he did. This all might be one body, but it looks like he did separate the windows from that. But I mean, that's just a fascinating. Look at that. Look at that detail, guys. Oh, that's just fantastic. Yeah, that model just blows my mind. Now that's that right there. If you did that for my class, for IMT 125, if you did that right there, you've aced my class. I don't care if you've got almost a flat 0 in my class at this point. If you pull this out of your hat, you've got 100% in my class. So that right there. That right there will get you ace in my class. I mean, I still want you to do like your final and all that, but I mean, but that right there, as long as you do your final, if you turn that in for this, you've aced the class, guys. So come on. Hope you guys have fun. I've just been listening to Floyd Marathon on the background late at night, sipping my hot tea, the Digital Cowboy, shouting out late at you guys.